Welcome to PPTV. My name is Kenneth and I'm a fat boy who likes blueberry tart. In case you're wondering why am I dressed in the same clothes as I did in the previous video, it's simply because I didn't go home and I haven't bathed for a whole week. And with that, we're going to try to talk about the FiR Audio M5. What do you mean try? We're going to talk about it, just say lah. Now the M5 is a flagship of FiR Audio. It has all the bells and whistles from the FiR Audio brand, including all the technologies, tactile bass, direct treble, direct EST, and even atom. You know, it is truly like a top shelf alcohol whereby it is, complex but easy to get into. And with that, we're going to technology and ASMR mode. M5 has a slew of technologies included, including one dynamic driver that features tactile bass, 3 balance armature, one of it is direct treble balance armature, and lastly, an EST driver titled the direct EST. It basically has all of the good stuff from FiR Audio compact into one chassis. With regards to the bass of the M5, last week I talked about the M3 whereby it has a rumbly and robust bass, while the M4 has a tight controlled bass with resonance. The M5 bass is nothing like that. It basically takes the best of the M3 and M4 and squish it together. It comes across as a bass with enough rumble impact and it's also very tight and concise. So basically you get a lot of resolution, a lot of speed with the bass of the M5, and it's actually very clean sounding. Literally you're getting the best of both the M3 and M4. Remember last week I mentioned that the M4 has a very dynamic mid-range. Now the M5 is similar but also rather different. The M4's mid-range is very focused and concise, whereby there are a lot of fundamental tones with regards to how the M4 portrays mid-range. The M5 on the other hand does something incredible that is not commonly seen in the IEM world. It actually extends from that by also highlights the harmonics that is in the mid-range. Rather than just getting a very solid core tone, it actually there is actually a glow around this tonality, which makes it very enchanting. This is not something that is very common in the realm of earphones. This is still extremely detailed earphone, in fact more so than the M4, but they actually do it in a manner whereby it is actually very analogous in a way, which is very enticing. There is this amazing glow that just makes the image pop. With regards to treble of the M5, this is where it becomes extremely interesting. The M5 uses the direct treble driver as well as the direct EST driver to produce the high frequencies. The result of this is that it has an incredibly effortless treble response. It sounds effortless. Music seems to be incredibly natural compared to the M4. In fact, it's one of the most natural sounding earphones I've heard that is of a multiple driver design. I cannot overemphasize the word natural and airy for the M5 because of its atom design. It is also incredibly airy. It sounds like nothing I've ever heard of. It is just fantastic. In terms of soundstage, the M5 is also incredible. The depth of the M5 is amazing. I always like to take orchestras as an example because they have very clear layerings of instrumentations. You can obviously hear the trombones towards the back of the orchestra and the whole brass section, and also in front of that you can clearly hear the wind section, the flutes, the clarinets. They are all very clear. You can actually even tell the depth between them. In terms of width, the M5 is also very wide sounding. The height is also very tall. The main reason for this is simply because of the atom module. The atom module makes it like a semi-open, airy sort of experience, which lends a hand to the width and height. And in terms of positioning, this is absolutely ace. So you have a complicated percussion section that ranges from the timpanis to the triangles. You can't tell where they are coming from, and I find that to be incredible. Last week I talked about M3. The M3 is basically very V-shaped. It is excellent for compressed music because of how it's tuned. The added bass and highs really does lend to the chugging rather of rock and metal music, and it actually suits that genre absolutely well. The M4 on the other hand, it is more balanced, so it suits most music very well. It's in fact stellar for vocals. Now I think what is interesting this week is when we talk about the M4 comparing to the M5. I think the meat of a comparison in this overview would be the M4 and M5. The M4 and M5, they are, well, out very similar earphones on the whole. But there is one very big fundamental difference. I mentioned that the M4 is a very fundamental toned earphone. It does a lot of things fundamentally well. You get very good resolution, it's very clean, bass is very fast hitting. The M5 is like that and quite a bit more. So rather than just getting a very pure tone, it gets a whole slew of harmonics that works together with it. So there's a very nice glow to the mid-range, to the highs, to the bass, and that is the biggest difference between the M4 and M5. The M4, it's very clean, but the M5 just has that something special that it's not so easily quantifiable. I don't think many earphones actually has this emphasis on harmonics like the M5 does, but when you hear it, you'll know that it's amazing. In conclusion, which model should you get between the M4 and M5? To be honest with you, I can't decide that for you. You have to decide that yourself. But I would say that the M4 is a more conventional sound, while the M5, because of its added harmonics, is incredible. If it was up to me purely and for my own use, and if I had the coin, I would definitely go with the M5. This is Kenneth from PBTV. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe and press the bell icon if you can, and follow us next week.
Say bye-bye.
Oh, this is getting awkward. Right, bye guys. It's a long day. I'm still wearing the same shirt. I haven't bathed for a week, so you know. Ciao.